Today, we're going to talk about a community that is truly on the front lines of climate change, a place where the very ground people live on is literally disappearing from under them. This is the incredible story of Newtok, Alaska. Seriously, just take a second and think about that. Not as some sci-fi movie plot, but as your day-to-day reality. What would you even do? Where could you possibly go? Well, for the Yupik people of Newtok, that question isn't hypothetical at all. It is their life right now. We're talking about an entire village being forced to pick up and move, not because they want to, but because the planet itself is changing. Okay, so let's set the scene. Where are we, and what exactly is going on here? This is the Yupik village of Newtok. It's home to about 380 people, and for generations it's been their home. But now, the land the village is built on, well, it's literally crumbling and falling straight into the Ninglick River. And the speed at which this is happening is it's mind-blowing. In some years, the river has swallowed up as much as 83 feet of land. I mean, imagine watching the land shrink by almost the length of a basketball court every single year. And this has led to a new term for them, climate change transplants. It's a really powerful way to put it, right? Because they aren't just moving, they're being forcibly uprooted by environmental changes that are completely beyond their control. So what's the science behind all this? I mean, why is a village that's been stable for decades suddenly just collapsing? Well, it all starts with what's deep underground. The key to this entire story is one word: permafrost. You can think of it like nature's concrete. For centuries, this permanently frozen ground was the solid foundation for everything. But that foundation is melting. And here's the chain reaction. It's really a domino effect. First, the climate gets warmer. That warmth thaws the permafrost, turning what was once solid ground into soft, unstable mud. Then, the ground starts to buckle and crumble, and with nothing to hold it together, it just erodes right into the river. And the consequences are everywhere. It's not just the riverbank disappearing. You've got roads and pipelines literally buckling, giant fuel tanks are starting to lean at these really dangerous angles, and then, to make matters even worse, the sea ice is shrinking. This means huge storm surges can now rush up the river, just chewing away at the land even faster. So with their home literally vanishing, the people of Newtok really only had one choice: move. And that kicked off this massive, incredibly difficult project to build a whole new village from the ground up. But this has been a long, long process. The Yupik first settled in Newtok way back in 1949. It took until 2003 for the government to even agree to help them build a new village. And get this, the first families didn't start moving until 16 years after that, in 2019. The project is still going on today. And this is it. This is Mertarvik. This is the future. It's being built about 10 miles away on higher, more solid ground, safe from that thawing permafrost. It's a symbol of hope for sure, but getting there is filled with enormous challenges. Yeah, as you can see, Mertarvik is very much a work in progress. Now, they have electricity, which is a huge step, but basic things we take for granted, like running water or a public sewer system, they're not there yet. The community is literally being built house by house, with essential buildings like a school still on the to-do list. This quote from the tribal administrator Andrew John just perfectly captures the urgency of it all. They are racing against the clock. Every single move, every piece of equipment they bring over has to be done in these small windows of good weather before the next storm comes and potentially washes even more of their old home away. You know, beyond all the logistics and the science, there's a huge human cost here. What does it actually feel like to have to leave the only home you've ever known? Martha Casoli, who's a young resident there, she just puts it so simply and so powerfully. There's this deep sadness about leaving, of course, but the reality is the danger of staying is just too great. It's a choice between two things you never want to choose. And this really breaks down that impossible feeling. The community is being pulled in two directions at once. On one side, there's all this anxiety and sadness about leaving the place you grew up, your traditions, your friends. But on the other side, there's excitement for a safer home, relief from that constant danger, and the hope for a more secure future for your kids. They're feeling all of this, all at the same time. But you know, if there's one single theme that really defines this whole story, it's not tragedy. It's an absolutely incredible, powerful resilience. We have to remember that adaptation is it's woven into the history of the Yupik people. For thousands of years, they were nomadic hunters, always moving with the seasons. Even settling down in Newtok in the first place was a huge adaptation for them. And now they're being forced to do it all over again. And Andrew John really says it best here. He says their greatest attribute has always been their ability to adapt. No matter the challenge, they've been flexible and they've always found a way. This move to Mertarvik, it's just the latest chapter in this long, incredible history of resilience. And that really leaves us with this final, crucial question. The story of Newtok is both a warning and a powerful lesson. They're on the front lines, adapting to a crisis that they didn't create. And their story really forces all of us to ask ourselves, they're adapting. How will the rest of us?